No. There's a tokusatsu show by Toei from back in the 90s called Robot Dog Detective Robotech. And he is criminally underrated. Now, the show may be filmed in Japan and made in Japanese, but it takes place in America. So, what Robotech has to do in this show is he's searching for a missing treasure, the land tool. Anyways, he's from a robotic planet called Harappa, and the planet's powered by a computer called Land Tool. I know I already said that, but anyways. Someone stole the Land Tool, brought it to Earth, and locked it in the Wonder Box. This sacred container to the Harappan people. And the person also split the Land Tool in pieces. And the Wonder Box will give you its contents randomly. And only one content at a time. And every time it gives you something, it locks itself up. The only way to unlock it is to obtain a certain number of Scooby-Doo badges. So, Robotech found a Scooby-Doo badge, but these mean robots from Harappa, Darkrow and Kabutos, a crow and a hippo, which is actually a common pairing in Japan, steal the thing. Darkrow being the one holding it, and I'll get into why that's important later. So anyways, this giant robot elephant with a crown mixed with an ATV mixed with a vehicle named Master Ranking, the keeper of the Scooby-Doo badges, appears. He'll give them one last trial, and the winner of the trial will get to keep the badge. And you know why I said that Darkrow was the one holding it? The one holding it when the trial begins will get an advantage in the trial. Now, the trial this time was an obstacle course race where you had a cup of noodles and you couldn't spill them. But if you spilt them, you'd be eliminated. Or even eating them, you'd be eliminated. So anyways, Darkrow's advantage for holding the badge first, and the Scooby-Doo badges are held in these trophies before they're opened. And he was holding the badge when the trial began. So you might rightfully ask, what advantage did he get in the soba noodle obstacle course race? He got the amount of noodles in his cup was decreased, meaning it was less likely he'd spill them. So the race begins, and it's a race to the top of the building. But Darkrow, and they go to the top of a building. But Darkrow is scared of heights, even though he's a crow. So Kabutos does something only robots from Harappa can do. Magnet change. When a robot magnet changes, they get a Metal Hero-like form called a special mode. And Metal Hero is a Japanese show that Robotech counts as a Metal Hero because he's a robotic hero. And he was the first person to ever use their special mode. I'm from the videos. Now, you might ask how he grabbed Darkrow and jumped to the next building. They climbed down, and they kept racing. But afterwards, Cavados got tired and reverted back to normal. So he ate his noodles, which, as I said earlier, was against the rules. So Monitoring Elephant, one of the employees of Master Ranking, calls Master Ranking out, and he eliminates Cavados from the race. The final zone of the race, where the goal is on a mountain for some reason. An Interference Elephant, another one of Master Ranking's employees that makes trials more difficult, was hurling boulders at the foot racers. So Kageru, Robotach's human buddy, grabs the Wonder Flute that Robotach had around his neck and blows into it, but only after Darkro used his weapon after magnet changing the car slicer to knock it off of Robotach's neck and near a boulder. So Kageru gets it and blows into it, which causes Robotach's battery to become fully charged. Now this is important, as you can only magnet change when your battery's at full charge, which is why Cavados de-transformed when he got tired. Remember that part. Now, Robotach's special mode comes equipped with a sword called the RK Bar. And let's go over his catchphrase. My flute's tone is wonderful. You know, because it's called the Wonder Flute. Well, after he transforms, the Wonder Flute turns to dust. But he used the RK Bar to knock out Darkro and made it to the goal in first place with his rabbit robot, who isn't friend Mimina, who isn't from Harappa. She was built here on Earth, in second place, and Darkro in third, with Cavados in last. Now that's important for later. A lot of stuff is important later in this video. Now, what happens afterward is Robotach gets the badge and opens the Wonder Box with it. But instead of getting one of the pieces of the land tool, like I said earlier, for those of you who are paying attention, he gets a new Wonder Flute personalized for him that won't disappear, and a manual for how to use it, as well as a new riddle compass. And I haven't mentioned the riddle compasses yet, but you have to find the Shooby-Doo badge, and there's a riddle for where it's hidden. For the first episode's riddle, it's a box with blue doors. 5 up, 7 up, 5 from the right, on the door that just won't open. That's the riddle for the first episode. But when Kageru and Robotach finally solved it, they got the badge. And those who finished last in the punishment games, another thing in the trials, will, as I said earlier, Cavados was last, will suffer a punishment game. Now, Cavados' punishment game is he must keep running. And when he stops running, a bomb will explode, shocking him. But Darkro goes home. And one other thing I forgot to mention is Kageru's uncle operates a detective agency. He stays with his uncle. Another thing I forgot to mention is that Cavados and Darkro work at a store, with Darkro being the assistant store manager. Cavados calls him that a lot. So afterwards, Robotech goes home and Kageru's uncle says that Robotech will have to be a live-in employee at his detective agency, with Robotech saying that Kageru's uncle is a monster. Anyway, that is the first episode of Robotech. Hashtag Robotech a good dog.